Welcome to the So Much More podcast, where we talk with people in the custom window treatment, soft home furnishings industry, and so much more. I'm your host, Seal DeGuglielmo. Welcome to today's podcast. And today I am doing another episode of the Opportunity Thinking series, where we like to recognize the opportunities and possibilities around us in our industry and be willing to look beyond what we already know. And for those of us in the custom window treatment and soft furnishings industry, education comes in so many forms. We learn through online classes and webinars and books and podcasts, the library, manufacturers training, mentoring, conferences. And each serves an important purpose, and each one is different. Education can improve our skills, grow our businesses, but it can also create opportunities we might not initially recognize. A student can become a teacher. Sharing one technique can lead to speaking, writing, consulting, product development, collaboration, or leadership. The Custom Workroom Conference brings many of these possibilities together. And today, Susan Woodcock is joining me to talk about why CWC matters, not just to individual attendees, but also to the educators, the suppliers, and the professionals who help move our industry forward. Susan, I'm so happy to see you today.
Thank you, Seal. It's nice to see you as well and to be on video for a change.
Exactly. We don't do this too often, but
No.
I think there's a good reason to do it once in a while. And I do think you and I are both really passionate about education in our industry. And I think that the words education and opportunity don't always come side by side, but they both mean a lot to all of us and in our industry.
Yeah.
So I'd be curious thinking about where education was when you and I started on the journey, and you started a little sooner than I did in your life. What opportunities do you see now that were not available when you first started?
Well, I started my business in 1988. Before that, my mom had a drapery workroom in her home. So
Mhm.
I've been around a long time in the drapery workroom world. But the biggest thing that's changed is technology. I
Yeah.
mean, since 1988, I remember when I got a fax machine and it was life-changing. Could send those quotes with a fax. Wow. Um, but just technology, social media, having an email and a computer on your phone.
Hmm.
I mean, having a mobile phone.
Yes.
I mean, it's so sound really old, but so much has changed. But the online platforms changed how we learned.
Yes.
And it also connected us with people and with professionals, with professional groups, with the CHF Forum, which is now
Mhm.
the library. So you weren't not just meeting people near you, you were meeting people from around the world.
Right.
And wow, what a big change. And then, online classes, YouTube videos, social media. I mean, really, that has been the biggest change in my career. And gosh, what's next with AI? I don't know.
I know, I know. And I'm sort of on that fence of embracing AI and being absolutely terrified by it. But we have spoken about the fact that AI cannot duplicate what we are doing. It
Yeah.
can assist us, but it cannot make custom window treatments, or it can't reupholster furniture. It can't make recommendations to our clients the way we as human beings can. So that's a podcast for another time.
And I look back and education would be going to the library and getting a book
Right.
or buying a book for how to make window treatments, how to do
Hmm.
upholstery. And that's our generation.
Right.
And good old-fashioned books are time consuming now. They're nostalgic.
Right.
And it's not something we would automatically go to in today's world. I mean, people love books, and I love books, and it's wonderful to have a book and turn the pages and or even have it open on the work table with you.
Right.
But it's not when you can Google on your phone. Are you going to pick up a book, or are you just going to, your phone's right there?
Right.
So books are a specialty now, and it's not something people would go to automatically. So that's a huge change too.
Right. Do you think that having more options has made it more difficult to choose what we need and how we want to learn?
Possibly. I think it's made it more difficult to know what's good advice and what's not good advice. Or you're getting a fire hose of information, too many opinions from different people who don't understand your experience and you don't understand theirs.
Right.
Um, something as simple as someone asking online, how would, what lining would you use? Well, people will just say, well, I always use this. And it's like, but you don't even know what I'm making or what my
Right.
budget is, or,
Right.
so there, it really can be it's the information is there, but you have to sort of uh, pull the weeds, to get to the
Yeah.
tomatoes.
Good analogy. And it's so funny that you used fire hose because I heard something today. When you're thirsty, a trickle of water will quench your thirst, but a fire hose will break your teeth.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
But I've been in that situation where I'm like, I just need to know a little bit about something so I can proceed. And there's so much to wade through that I don't know if my answer is even there. So sometimes that can be a little bit overwhelming.
Yeah.
Do you, I anticipate the answer to this question, but do you believe that one form of education is necessarily better than another?
It depends on the individual. I've had a lot of students come for hands-on training
Hmm.
specifically because that's their preferred way to learn and they feel more
Right.
comfortable with that. And they are not good at following instructions or following videos.
Mhm.
And then other people, video education's great. You could stop it and start it.
Right.
And then people like written instructions.
Right.
And some people are better at following the written word. Some people are better at writing instructions than others.
Right.
So for me, hands-on training is the best way to learn. Um, and I think part of that is the opportunity to be able to talk to your teacher and the other people in your class. And so you have all these conversations going on. It's a more well-rounded
Hmm.
education than just being by yourself and learning online.
Right. I am often reminded of I don't know what I don't know. So if I'm teaching myself something, I may not be the best teacher I can get.
True.
Do you think it's helpful to combine different types of learning?
Sure. Sure. Yeah. To have, written instructions that you are also learning in person, or a pattern or something like that. Having programs where you're doing online lessons and making something at the same time.
Mhm.
That's really helpful. I think the least helpful would be, read this, take a test, and now you're certified or whatever. It's like no practical experience. I mean, that might work in some fields, but
Right.
the practical experience is so important for what we do.
I also feel like there are so many of us in this industry that are either we learn differently. There are a lot of neurodivergent people in our industry who do really well because they are creative, who would fail miserably at a test like that. And as I get older, my ability to memorize things is not quite as good as it was when
Well,
I
I've
was younger,
never been good. I've never
but it
been a
was
good
never
test
been great.
taker.
I've never been great at it.
No, I'm not good at math. I'm not a good test taker. My deficiencies I make up for with creativity, and that's why hands-on is so important for me. I
Yeah.
can I can see how it goes together better than just visualizing it on paper.
Okay. So, as someone who started a physical school, went to online training because of the necessity of COVID.
Yeah.
What do you think that online education does especially well for all of us as an industry?
Well, I think professional online classes that are intended for business owners and not necessarily the DIY market. Um, I think it's very convenient. It's a great way to learn. And especially with online classes, you're not going to learn uh, further ahead. You're going to learn one thing. So
Okay.
in our classes, and I can only speak from our experience. So it would be, how to make an Austrian shade. But in a class, you would learn how to make like three different types of shades,
Right,
and
right,
systems and things like that. And it also opens up the world to people that want to dip a toe in the industry, and they can become future professionals, and that builds their industry. And I was talking to someone at the Shades and Shades seminars that we had recently in Colorado, and she was trying to describe herself, and I said, "You're a high-end hobbyist." And she said, "Oh, I like that. I like that." I said, "Yeah, there's a lot of people that want to learn to make things professionally. They're not going to start a business,
right.
but they want to have things made well and done
They
well."
take pride in it.
Yeah, just
Yeah,
like, with a lot of hobbies, you want to do them right. And so, yeah, she was very pleased to know that she was a high-end hobbyist. And a lot of those people do become professionals over
right.
time.
And there's room for that
Yes.
in our world.
Yeah,
And our industry won't move forward if we don't have some of those people step up. So I
absolutely.
like that. I think we need to embrace that phrase, Susan. And as a person who has taken some online classes and many in-person classes, I'll be curious to hear your answer about how important you think it is to be able to observe someone doing a technique and be able to ask questions.
That is, imagine a cooking class, where you can say, well, can I use less sugar? Will the cookies be a flop if I would cut back
Yeah.
on the sugar a little bit? It's the same thing, can I use a different lining? Can I use a different padding on the arms? Can we
Right.
skirt a different way? What if I cut it on the bias? Um, and teachers have to be prepared for all of those things.
Well, that's funny because my mind went to the teaching part of it. And one of the things that, and we'll talk about what makes a good teacher in a little bit, but one of the things I admire in a teacher is someone who will say, I don't know, let's try it.
Yeah,
And maybe they already know the answer, but it's an opportunity for people to see, oh, the reason we use that special padding there is because any other padding is not going to be like whatever it is. And I think Janelle Deck is one of those people who's exceptionally good at that. I remember the first time I taught at CWC and you were doing a class for the teachers, and you mentioned being ready for questions. And I thought, oh, in all my preparation, that was not something I was thinking. But
be
it
be ready for the unexpected, right?
exactly, and it did change how I perceived the class, how I perceived the class should move forward, but allow for people to ask a question that since I was always teaching technology, I could say, I don't know, let's see what happens, and not be completely thrown off.
Yeah.
And again, that's an opportunity for everybody in the class to learn from.
Yeah, many years ago, I taught a extraordinary panels, drapery panels class for CHF Academy. And so it was advanced students, and we were learning how to add embellishments and balances on draperies and different, you know, uh,
Mhm.
you know, English method and all these things. And they worked pretty independently. So after I taught it one time, I was like, I'm just standing around. I don't have anything to do, after the first day, because they've gone off and are got their heads down. So after the first day, after that first class, the first day of class, I told everyone to bring me back a what if. So their homework was to go home or to the hotel and then come back the next morning with a what if. And I got such great ideas from the what ifs. And, people were bringing back, they'd woven toilet paper together from the hotel room or napkins. They came up with this, what if you combined this style with this style in a drapery? What if you hemmed it this way? What if you did
Oh,
a
I love
setting
that.
this way? What if the pleats were this far apart? And some of them ended up in the trash,
Hmm.
but we all learned from it.
Right.
While they were doing their projects, I was trying to challenge me with the what ifs. And that
Yeah.
was so much fun. And
Yeah.
everybody learned together. And it also shows that there's still a lot to learn. There's still a lot of creativity out there and new ways to look at things. And it also teaches you that there's a reason it's been done this way for for so
Yes,
many years.
yes. I think a really big light bulb moment for me was when I was taking Ann Johnson's workroom skills class. And the people in the class ranged in experience from a year or two, literally to 30 years. And we were in Elke Horn's workroom taking the course. And there was something that Ann demonstrated that, like, several people were like, oh, wow. And that eyes lit up. And Elke looked at it. She said, oh, I wish I could do that that way. But with all the people in my workroom, I can't change that. That
Yeah.
won't work here. And it was early enough in my career that I was really just still learning to say, that's a great method. Oh, that won't work for me,
Yeah.
because not everything works for every person. So I'm still talking about that moment many years later because it really settled for me. There are multiple ways to do everything. There's a reason we do some things the way we do them, and
Yeah.
you have to try things once in a while.
Yeah. And to have the confidence to speak up and say, that's that's a great method.
Hmm.
Won't work for me in
Right,
my workroom with
right.
my employees, but that's something I'm going to keep in here for
Yeah,
later. I mean that confidence instead of going, oh gosh, I don't want to let people know that I'm not going to use the tip.
right. I'm always fascinated by the trajectory of some of the um, careers of some of the people in our industry. And I would love for you to talk about how participating in education, either as a student or a teacher, can help someone become more connected to the industry at large.
Yeah, well, you end up becoming a mentor. Like the first class you teach, you're going to be hearing from your students. And also, you have to be one class ahead of them all the time. So you're constantly learning. And the thing that was most surprising for me were all the things I did and I didn't know why I did them.
Oh,
So when I
interesting.
started teaching, I learned a lot from my mom. So
Hmm.
the way she put pins and side hems that were going to be hand sewn, we always put them at an angle and buried the point.
Hmm.
And it's just the way mom did it, you know. So students say, "Well, why do you do it that way?" And I'm like, "I got to figure out why we do it that way," you know. And my mom would have an answer like, "Just because that's just what we do." I said, "Mom, that doesn't work." But then you start grabbing and handling the fabric, and you can see that, bearing the point is obvious, so
Yeah.
that you're working on it. But having them at an angle instead of straight or perpendicular or parallel, you don't get stuck
Right.
when you're grabbing and shifting the fabric. So every little thing you have to analyze and be prepared. Or you get that first question and you go, I don't know why we do it that way. I'm going to find out. And then
Yeah.
you come back
Right.
the next day or you email them and follow up and go, that was a great question. I never even thought about it. And um, let's try it.
Right.
And there have been times when I've told students, you know what, you're right. I went home, I tried it, and that's a better choice. And I'm going to teach it that way from now on.
Right.
So I think as teachers, you're constantly learning, and you have to be open-minded enough to let that process happen, right?
Exactly. And I think some of the teachers I've admired the most didn't necessarily have the answer to everything, but they were willing to hear what people had to say and also embrace what we were just talking about a minute ago. That sounds like that's great for your workroom. Here's what I do in
Yeah,
mine. Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah. I do think that one of the things that I discovered by putting myself out there a little bit was that I ended up being able to collaborate with people, whether
Mhm.
it was other workrooms in my area. Um, you recently posted about your first um, attendance at a conference, and I was introduced to a couple of people who lived around me who were workrooms. And I've said many times, I would not be in business today without them. And I really had to force myself to go to that first conference. I literally found out about it the day before. It was not an insignificant amount of money for my business to put out with no planning in place. And it was one of the best things I ever did because I didn't, even at that point, I didn't know I was a workroom. And here was this group of people who I was relating to and understanding, even though my very first class was for Empire Swags, and I had no idea what they even were at that point. But it's also that the people who I've gotten to know over the years who have been willing to share their knowledge. And that to me, I'm surprised sometimes by people who don't teach because they seem to know so much. And I'd love to know more from them.
Yeah.
So I'd love to get into the teaching bit in a little bit. But I would love to talk about how you and Roger first imagined this custom workroom conference would be. What need or opportunity did you see?
Well, there was a lack of dedicated event for the workroom industry.
Mhm.
Um, I missed it. There was the Cheryl Strickland conferences. There's always been the International Winter Coverings Expo, and
Mhm.
I've attended that many times over the years, but it's not specifically for workrooms.
Right,
And workrooms are a different category of business,
right,
and we deserve to have our own event
right,
where we can learn together, and the suppliers can meet us, and we can meet them.
right.
So I missed it. I wanted to have it back. And I also missed having a trade show where the small businesses were exhibiting.
Yes.
I remember at Cheryl Strickland's shows, Doris Graham was there with her hand sewing needles and her calculator. No, no, was she making $1 million selling hand sewing needles and a calculator? No, but I bought both.
Right.
I first met Sam Sloan. That's where
Mhm.
I connected with so many people in the Hanes fabrics, so many people in the industry that I know now. But it's not affordable to do those big shows for small businesses
Mhm.
like ours and like our small business suppliers. So that was another inspiration for us is to have a space where small businesses could come together.
Right, right. As you thought about creating it, what experience did you want these small business owners to have when they got there?
It's the same as it is today. We want people to walk in the door and feel included and welcomed, to feel valued for their talents and their skills, to be valued as individuals, um, and their unique style.
Right.
We get all types of people come to CWC.
No, and I love that.
It's fun. I love
Yeah.
it. And I want people to feel that like they're part of a bigger industry.
Right.
So many of us work alone or work at home, and to be able once a year to feel the energy of all of us coming together. Um, I want people to be proud of the trades, to be a proud tradesperson. And this is a whole nother podcast.
It is.
We
It
we
is.
are we are a blue collar industry working for a high end in a high end industry. We're
Mhm.
not necessary. Like a plumber or an electrician,
Right.
and you need one. Everybody across the board needs those kinds of trades. We work in a luxury trades. And
Right.
I think it's a unique and different subset of the trade world.
Hmm.
And that's also why it's important to come together so that we can unify our message
Right.
and um, just to feel like what you do is important.
Yeah. And being in that environment, I think whether you've been at this for a while or you're brand new, I think there is a sensation that you can't quite describe. I remember you saying something about you and Roger looking over the exhibitor's floor and just looking at all the people there who make things with their hands.
Mm.
And one of the things that I love about the marketplace in particular is there are a lot of smaller companies, but it's also where you get to meet the person who's on the other end of the phone when you call,
Yeah. Yeah.
uh, to establish a relationship. I remember I met Ralph Angel at my very first conference, and I joke a lot about my first couple orders were 10 yards a piece. And this, and the first time I ordered a whole bolt of lining, I felt like a big girl. But had I not met him and understood more about his business and his company, I don't know that I would have felt comfortable making that phone call and saying, I only need 20 yards. Can I get that? And
Yeah.
having somebody say, oh, let me run back to the warehouse and see if there's a bolt with that on it. And thinking,
Wow.
this, yeah, this would not happen with in other circumstances. But it's also where you get to meet people from our industry who have created a product or service because they know and love this industry so well, and they're thinking about ways to do things better or to have tools that are better. And I am a gadget girl, so I love seeing what people come up with and love being able to walk around and see someone being someone being able to show what they've created and why it works. And I think you don't get that. I did get to IWCE this year, and it's a huge market floor, and it can be very overwhelming. And this is just much more intimate and more, there's just a better ability to get to see everything and learn from the people who you are going to be buying from.
Yeah, and we will always keep CWC focused on the drapery and upholstery workrooms. We have
Mhm.
no plans to try to explode it and include, interior designers or, interior designers are welcome to come and
Right.
learn a lot, and they certainly walk the show floor. Um, but, that limits our ability to grow because the industry isn't that big.
Mhm.
So, anyone that's out there going, well, it's not a very big show. Well, it's not a very big industry.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
we have a percentage of people come each year that represents the overall industry, and people come from all over the United States, Canada, and occasionally Europe.
Mhm.
Um, and but that's okay with us because I like it small and intimate and where you can really get to meet people and know people. Um, and I hope that our small group of people will show the exhibitors that you can come to a small show and do just as well as a big show where, people are walking by and not stopping to talk to you.
Mhm.
So hopefully, so far 10 years in, we're doing okay with that theory, but we'll see.
I also think it makes an environment. I think that many of us choose to work by ourselves
Yeah.
because we're not as extroverted, and it that does work for us, but it still is a very different experience to be around other people and to suddenly understand, what challenges we have. You can be an introvert and still come to this
Yeah.
conference, and you can walk away when it's too much. I've done that where it's like, all right, too many lights, too many people, too much sound. And half an hour later, I'm like, okay, I'm back. I'm ready to go. I do think that that's the most important part, is understanding that there are so many, we say small, but there's still so many people that are doing what we are doing. And that connection, I think, is incredibly important. There are moments at the conference that have nothing to do with the classrooms. And you've talked about this before, where at registration, somebody's waiting behind someone else who's getting their ID tag, and you've done the brilliant thing of putting what town and state you're from, and people go, oh my gosh, you live in the town next to me. You've said it's happened multiple
Happens
times.
every year over and over. It's
I
just
think that's fantastic.
fantastic. I love it.
All right, so we've kind of talked about what's important about CWC. We are starting to come to the end of the month of August, which I don't even want to talk about that, but there's a deadline to register, and that is August 28th. So if someone has been thinking about it and kind of putting it off, can they look at everything ahead of time? Uh, can they decide what classes they want to take before they sign up? Tell people what the process is in case they don't know.
Okay, so we publish the event brochure in the spring, um, usually around end of May, June, 1st of June. This year was first week of June. And no, I'm sorry, we published the brochure in May and then registration will open the first week of June. So you have a whole month before registration opens to look at the brochure. And then the brochure is there. So the brochure has the schedule, the parties, the and social events, the list of classes, the list of teachers, um, all their class topics, the teacher bios. So you can go through, and there's 4 classes in each class session. And
Mm.
this year, session 5 has 5 classes. So the hardest part, but people always complain to me, the biggest complaint we get is too hard to choose between the classes. I'm like, yes, that's
Yeah.
the kind of complaining we want.
Yes.
And it is really hard to choose. And people want to take classes for specific reasons. So you might have an upcoming project and you're going to take a class because you need that information. You might have a favorite teacher and you
Mhm.
just know every class they teach is going to be great, so I'm going to take.
Whatever they're teaching, I'm taking the class.
Some people come and focus on business. Like this year, I mean, I'll have people at CWC go, I really want to take your class, but this year I'm focused on the business classes.
Right.
And I really respect that. I mean, that's dedicated because let's face it, everybody wants to go to the classes with the pretty things,
Right.
numbers.
Right.
So, yeah, there's plenty of time to prepare. And even now, getting close to our deadline for registering, everything's on our website at customworkroomconference.com. And, I think it's pretty clear. You can go in and just look at the brochure and go back, look at it again, and print out the list of classes and start circling the ones you want. And the registration is online process, and according to our metrics, it takes less than 5 minutes.
Oh, okay. That's good to
That's the
know.
average. So I think people really have made up their mind by the time they open up the registration form and
Okay.
and click which classes they want.
Okay. As someone who made that first decision within a day to go to my first conference, there wasn't a lot of time for me to think it through. The next time a conference was available for me, I had time to plan and save and everything else. But I think what I realized the day before that first conference was what I was investing in my
Yeah.
business. And if you could like touch on that a little bit for people.
Yeah, the fee to attend is $600 this year, and it has gone up slightly like everything. Our costs are more for the venue and printing and everything else.
Right.
I think when we started CWC 10 years ago, it was 450.
I
So
was going to say it hasn't gone up
for the
dramatically.
10
Yeah.
years. But now that we've been doing this show for so long, people are expecting it and planning for it. So, setting aside money to attend every year.
Right.
And then your travel expenses and hotel expenses. You'll have 4 nights of hotel and or 3. And it depends on whether you're driving or flying and travel cost. And then there's setting aside money to purchase at the show.
Right. Really important.
Yeah, and the show specials make it so that some people come and purchase for the whole year.
Right.
So that's a big investment, but if you plan for it and set the money aside, then you're ready to
Mhm.
go.
Right. And I think the other part of that, Susan, is that you are investing in the future of your business because of the connections that you can make there.
Absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
we have often heard people learn and connect in between classes. And much like your tissue paper or toilet paper, I've seen people folding paint, like sitting around in between at the coffee
Yeah,
break. And well, if you do this and
napkins.
you do this,
Draping swags with their,
exactly,
their
exactly.
napkins. Yeah.
And I think that the idea that you are coming to take classes limits what you are really going to be exposed to. And there's so much more to that. And again, I think one of the joys that I get is I don't always know who's connected to who. and I'll be walking through the breakfast room or the coffee break, and I see people. I didn't know they knew each other. That's so great. Like it just, I get so vitalized by that. And also people walking up to other people and saying, "You don't know me, but,"
Hmm. Yeah.
and I love seeing the look on people's faces. And that's one of the things when we're talking about people putting themselves out a little bit and wanting to teach. What do you look for in a good teacher?
Uh, I think the best teachers are the people that are in their workrooms with their heads down, getting stuff done.
Yeah.
They're also the hardest teachers to get because they're busy and they're working every day.
Yeah.
But they're up to speed. They're not doing it as a hobby. They're not doing it 10 years ago. They're doing it every day.
Yeah.
I think that the best teachers value education and are learners.
Hmm.
They continue to learn. Um, and I think it's people that want to share to help others and not to share for their own benefit.
That makes such a difference because I've seen the difference. Yeah.
So we issue a call for speakers in December of the year of the show. So this December, we'll issue the call for speakers for 2027. And I try not to look at them when they come in. I mean, I'll look to see to make sure it came in properly because if something wasn't filled out or something, I'll let them know.
Yeah.
But I'll look and I go, oh, good, Seal submitted a class or but I won't really read them. I won't really look at them that much because I want to see the whole body at one time.
Okay.
And the deadline is usually in February, so it's like 2.5, 3 months
Okay.
sending in their submissions. And then I get that whole set of submissions together. And it's usually 3 to 4 times more than we have spaces for.
Okay. That's got to be so difficult.
Yeah, it's hard. So the first thing I do is divide everything into topics. We have 4 class sessions. And each one has, maybe 5 class sessions, each has 4 topics: window treatments, upholstery, general interest, which would be pillows, cushions, hand sewing, working with velvet this year is one of the classes that appeal to both drapery and upholstery workrooms, and then a business category. So
Okay.
I can divide all of the submissions into those 4 categories, and then I have to pick 5 from each of those categories. I don't do it alone.
I know you don't. I would, yeah, I'd be incapable of doing that by myself.
I sort of go through. I mean, there'll be things that I know are going to be popular based on
Hmm.
what I've seen people talking about on Facebook, or on the forum, or just in classes and the questions students ask me.
Hmm.
But I end up putting all the submissions in a spreadsheet. I take out the teachers' names and then I share that with other people. And
Oh,
they don't
fascinating.
know who the teachers are. And
Okay.
I get such great feedback, and not long feedback. It might just be, I'd take that class,
Okay.
or please select this one. I need this information. Or this person's trying to teach too much in 90 minutes. Or,
Oh, that's personal.
that sounds dated.
Okay.
It might just be simple comments like that, but that will help me choose if I'm on the fence between like two.
Okay.
So I found that to be extremely helpful. And if people don't get selected, it's sometimes it's as simple as, um, we can only have like one Roman shade class, right? I can't fill up the window treatments with all Roman shade classes.
Right,
So I'm
right,
going to
right,
pick the one that isn't a repeat of last year or has some specialized detail,
right,
something that is of value at the moment.
right,
What we taught in a class 10 years ago might be different from a class I'd pick today.
right. And having submitted classes and been accepted and also not accepted, that's the way that roles, and I'm okay with that.
Well,
I think the year I submitted that I didn't get selected, I was actually relieved because I
I
had a
hear
lot of
that a
other
lot.
things going on.
I actually hear that a lot. It's like, oh, thank you.
But in all honesty, there was a lot of imposter syndrome when I submitted the first class because I wasn't sure I was capable of teaching or that what I was teaching was valuable. And I'd love to have you touch on that because I see people in the forum, I see people on Facebook, and I think, wow, you're really knowledgeable. Why have you not taught a class yet?
And I'll have people email me or come up to me or reach out on social media and say, I want so and so to teach at CWC, or why didn't you select so and so? And I was like, well, they didn't submit.
Yeah, yeah,
It has nothing to do with celebrity.
right,
You're equal when you submit a class to CWC. Now, we might look at somebody and go, well, they have a bigger following and they might promote more on social media and that would help draw attention to us. But if their um, class topic isn't great,
right,
I might choose somebody with less experience because they have a really solid class topic.
right.
Yeah, it's the social media influencers don't submit to teach, and I
Yeah,
have theories about that. Maybe it's because maybe they have imposter syndrome. Maybe being able to control a 3-minute video they can edit is different than standing up in
right,
a class for 90 minutes and really sharing your soul.
right, right. That is a very different experience.
And trying to appeal to get more followers instead of trying to share information to help a few business owners.
Mhm.
Yeah, I don't know. I probably could analyze that more and try to figure it out. But yeah, those people don't usually submit classes, so um, they're welcome to.
Yeah, and I think what we do want to say to people is even if you don't feel completely ready,
Yeah,
you should still submit a class. I think that the guidance that you give building up to the conference and the deadlines that you set would be great help to someone who's just learning
right.
to
Yeah.
teach class.
And that's one
And
of our goals is
okay,
we want new people every year. Every year at CWC, we're introducing new teachers.
right.
And the same old teachers. There's
Yeah,
teachers that, Janelle Deck and Robin Matthews and, people that teach it often. Maybe not every year. Ann Johnson, she's not teaching this year. She's taught other years. Maybe she'll
yeah,
teach next year. But I want new faces because what happens to workroom education if it's just 60-year-olds teaching?
yes.
Yeah.
And we say that as 60-year-olds. As
Yeah,
hard as that is to admit
I
some days.
know.
And that's, you did touch on this a little bit. I think qualified people sometimes hold themselves back
Yeah,
because they don't believe that they're experts. And I hope that everything that we've said here, like, allows people to believe you don't have to be an expert. And it is okay to say during class, I don't know what would happen if we did that. Let's try it and find out. Or I can't do that in this class, but I'm going to go home and try it and I will get back to you. And I have seen that over and over again where teachers are willing to experiment with something on their own and then get back to people.
Yeah, and I often have, people come at me at CWC. I wanted to submit, but I just didn't know what to submit. Or I'll get emails. I get a lot of emails when I do the call for speakers. What do you need?
Oh,
What should I submit? And I'm not gonna,
cheating.
I'm not gonna say what I need because I don't know until all the submissions are in. One year we might have 10 people submit cornerboard classes, and the next year nobody.
Okay.
So it's always interesting to see what people are going to submit, and I'm not going to say we need something because
Yeah. Because you don't know till you get the submissions.
until
What
I
you,
get them all. And just yesterday, I sat down and looked at our tenure, added up all the teachers that we've had over the past 10 years, and surprised myself. Individually, we've had 91 teachers
wow.
at CWC. And then if you just look at the combined teaching, like, teachers teach more than one event.
Right.
If you just look at individually, we have people teaching individually at each event. We've had 173 teachers, all the events combined. But just
Right.
looking at that number of 91 teachers, so many of those were people that are recognized in the industry now that wouldn't have been if they hadn't have submitted to teach a class.
Right.
I mean, a perfect example is Jonathan Bennett. He submitted to teach in 2018 um, for the no, he submitted to teach in 2019 for the 2020 show,
Okay.
and the 2020 show didn't happen.
Right.
So when it did happen in 2022, Jonathan was there. And that was the first time meeting him, you know. So actually, I went to Virginia and I was in Virginia and I popped in his shop and met him before CWC. But just look at what's happened with Jonathan
Yeah.
in the time since he started
And that's 4 years.
involved in the industry and being a teacher.
Right.
And he's such a great teacher.
Yes.
People enjoy his classes and now he owns Workroom Tech. So
Right.
there's so many possibilities. I stood up at one show and said, somebody in this audience one day is going to be standing up here, not me.
Right. Which shocked people because I think they thought you were going to retire immediately.
I was going to kick the bucket.
Susan, I think that is a really valuable example because I remember watching a couple of the real workrooms tours that Janelle Deck was doing. And she and I were in the same WCAA group, and I had just redone my workroom. And I don't know what possessed me to open my mouth and say, I just redid my workroom. It might be kind of fun for you to come over.
Yep.
And it was Janelle and I knew each other. We didn't know each other really well. It was a chance for us to get to know each other and interact a little bit more. And it was around the time that I was doing the podcast. And so we started to know more about each other. And that was why she thought of me when it was time for her to let go of the Curtains and Soft Furnishings Resource Library. And if you had told me at that moment, before I got my strength together and walked up to her, I might have said, "Oh, no, thank you. I can't handle all that." And, here we are. So that gave me opportunities as well. So I think that putting yourself in the position where you're associating with some of the other teachers helps to eliminate a whole lot of the imposter syndrome because they are, as you said, people in their workrooms with their heads down, getting their work done. And yet they're still willing to share. I think Terry Sandlin is another example of an unbelievably generous teacher. I've been with her and Emily Pettit with slipcovers. I remember a couple times listening to them or listening to Jonathan and hearing them say things like, this is how I'm doing it, and this is why I do it. And then one of my employees or another workroom said, and then I tried that. And they're just so exuberant and so excited about what they're sharing. And again, I think that putting yourself in that position just gives you so many opportunities, even if the opportunity is to see the light bulb moment on
Yeah.
that that is the reason I submit classes.
Connections are so important. The people that you meet one year, it might be 5 years later
Hmm.
that opportunity is going to come up, but you have to start somewhere. I was just thinking about Haynes Fabrics. I've worked with Haynes Fabrics consulting and teaching about linings for 20 years, and that was because Kitty Stein was doing it, and she recommended me to Haynes when she'd stepped down. Um, that kind of just meeting her and knowing her um, just opened up an opportunity for me that I
Right,
wouldn't have had otherwise.
right.
I'm so grateful for her, for Margie Nance, for Cheryl Strickland, for everyone that's helped me in my career, and I want that to pay that forward.
Yeah. I think that's the biggest thing, as you said, for teachers to make a really great experience for their students. They have to want to share and they have to want to make it about the student and not about themselves. And all of those people that you just mentioned are people that I felt the same thing from all of them. And I think that's really important.
Yeah. I would love just to have a teacher reunion of everybody that's taught. Maybe
That would be awesome.
that's kind of what CWC is.
It is kind of like a reunion. I know that feeling of when I first see someone that I haven't seen since last year, or people I have never met in person, but I recognize instantly.
Yeah.
And there's just something about that is just invaluable. I also think, and we touched on this a little bit, Susan, I'd love for you to talk to the person who doesn't really see themselves as a professional yet. What do you think going to CWC does for that person?
Wow, that's eye-opening, isn't it? To be in the presence of other people that are like you, who are successful and who have confidence, and who have attended before, and to be with them and go, wow, they're just like me. They're working out of their home. There's so many people are shamed because they're working out of their home. Maybe COVID years changed that. I mean, everybody,
A little bit, I think it did, but I do think there's still a little bit, oh, I'm just working from home. I
yeah,
really don't
I
like that
just
word,
work in my
just.
basement. But the what people don't realize is with the custom industry, so many of the beautiful draperies, Roman shades, upholstered furniture, and reupholstered furniture is done in a small shop,
Mm-hmm.
less than, fewer than 10 employees or fewer than two or three people.
Right,
So all of these, beautiful things you see with these high-end designers, they are not produced in a factory workroom.
right.
So when people come to CWC and they meet someone like Julie Tome, and she's just over the top, works
Right.
for just the best designers with lots of recognition and celebrity homes. She doesn't have a factory putting out this work.
She
It's
does not.
a few hands.
Hmm.
And the same with a lot of the upholstery shops. So when you come together and you feel like I'm a nobody, I'm just work out of my home and I'm hoping to come to the show so I can make more money,
Hmm.
then you realize I'm not unique. I'm like everybody else.
Right.
I've worked with my mom, and one employee. Um, that was the most I ever had in the workroom at one time. And so, now we have Lori Medford that helps us out with CWC and was helping us with workroom tech, but never had a lot of employees. So I'm typical too. I mean, it is typical to be a small business owner.
Right.
And if you want to start adding employees, I mean, Janelle has a great class at CWC this
Yes.
year on that because she has grown her business to be a bigger
Mhm.
business, doing more than workroom. But I think that's the biggest thing. If people are not sure if they'll benefit from coming to CWC, if you're a newbie, you will benefit from the connections you make and the confidence that you'll get. If you are an established person, it's just a feeling of building the industry, of helping the industry to grow and connecting with your friends and mentors and suppliers in person
Mhm.
and learning. I mean, the people that have been in industry 20, I just had somebody tell me, I've been in business 30 years. CWC last year was my first time attending, and I learned so much.
Right.
So we don't try to categorize our classes by beginner level, intermediate level, advanced
Notice that.
level,
Yeah.
because you don't know what people don't know.
Right.
And in our world, like swags, everybody has to relearn them. So you might as well.
Exactly.
I can't believe Robin Matthews is teaching Kingston Balances this year because they're back.
Because it's necessary.
They're doing them
Exactly.
over beds, they're doing them over draperies. So,
Right.
yeah, so all those things keep rotating back around again.
Yeah. And I think that the legacy of our industry, preserving the skills and passing them forward. If you're hesitant to submit a class for any other reason, I think that's a good reason to encourage people. If you know how to do something that is not being done as frequently, that's a great opportunity to teach it to other people.
Yeah. And, sometimes I like having, might not be every year, but just like a basic how to fabricate a drapery class,
Yeah,
you know? And I still, I've learned the low bulk method. That's not the way I was taught,
right.
but I use it a lot now. But
Mhm.
sometimes it just feels so comfortable just to go back to that double fold heading. And
Yeah.
all of you that are not in the industry that are listening to this are going, what is she talking about?
Oh, I remember because that's how I was taught. And actually the low bulk method to me is how I do most of my drapes now. But you're right. Every once in a while, I'm like, I just want a little more oomph in this one. I just want it to be a
Go
little,
back to the way I did it in 1985.
yeah. There's something to be said about that. In speaking about the legacy of our industry, you've talked about and shown a graph of the number of people who are coming for the first time versus the third or fourth or 10th time. And you and I have had this conversation privately. We hear a lot of, well, no one new is coming into the industry. And that is not yours and my experience.
Right, right, right. We
Yeah.
get to see a different side of the industry, which is amazing and hopeful.
Yeah.
This year, the metrics right now, we have on the registration form, it says how many years have you been in business? So it's
Mhm.
0 to 5, 5 to 15, 15 to 25, something like that. I forgot. But right now, and I always look at the 0 to 5. And um, right now, 28% of our attendees are in their first 5 years of business. So that's the most that it's ever been.
Okay.
And then the 5 to 10 or 15, I don't have it in front of me. Category is also really strong. That's like 25%, 24, 25%. The amount of people that have been in business 25 years plus is really high.
Mhm.
What the lowest number of people that attend CWC are in that like 15 to 20 year
Oh,
range.
interesting.
And I don't think it's because they don't want to learn. I think there's fewer people started businesses in those years.
Oh, that makes sense.
But that's during the recession years.
Okay.
And so I think there was less people starting businesses, and that's a reflection of the numbers.
Yeah, where things were. Although that is about when I started my business. So,
And then for people that are attending for the first time, because we get people that attend for the first time that have been in business 25
right.
years. Um, Last year we had 40% of the people were attending for the first time. And this year it's a little lower. I think it's around 30%.
Okay.
Well, I don't look at it every day. So
Yeah, no, that would drive me crazy.
I love
But
those little pie charts.
it's a really nice balance though, because for someone who works by themselves, this is a great opportunity to um, be around other people who do what you do, get a burst of confidence to reinvigorate or to give you the push you need to keep going. And, for people who have not been to the conference before, this is a great opportunity to find out how many wonderful people there are in our industry.
Yeah. And the people that come for the first time and are embraced and feel welcomed,
Mhm.
they're just blown away. So a lot of people come from different industries. We have
Yeah.
when somebody's new, they're not fresh new.
Right. This is a second career for a
Second
lot of
career,
people.
right? So either they're in their 30s, 40s. We have a lot of people that want to start a family and they want to be able to work from home, or they're just burned out from their career, or retirees that want a second career. And it's so great to see everybody welcomed and included. And they're like, I went to trade shows before for my career before, and they're not like this. It's fun.
It
It's
is fun.
it's actually more fun than a real family reunion, because you
Yes,
don't
some
have the
days.
drama.
Not that we're dissing our families, but
We both come from big families. We know
yes.
we understand what getting a bunch of family members together can be like.
Exactly.
Other than that.
Exactly.
And you know what? If you're attending for the first time, nobody knows if you just lost 50 pounds. Nobody knows if you just gained 50 pounds.
Oh my
Nobody
God.
knows
I
if
forgot
you
about that.
changed your hair color or you're now wearing glasses or if you had a hip replacement or if you split up with your boyfriend. Nobody knows these things. You can
Oh
be
my gosh. What a
wherever you want
totally
to be.
different perspective, Susan.
Isn't that freeing?
Yes, I love that. There you go. That's all the motivation anybody would need.
I was at a dinner after a show with one of Cheryl Strickland's conferences, and I was around the table with, all my workroom friends. It was Donna Scoofus and Beth Hodges and Terry Boozer and, Janelle Deck and Mary Dwan, all of us sitting around a table together having dinner. And Donna, like, put her hands on the table and says, "Wait, stop. I just want to tell you all how special this is to be able to talk to all of you because all of you get me. When I try to talk to my husband, he just glazes over. You're also interested in what I have to say." I mean, it was just like, you're right. To be
Yeah.
somewhere where you can talk fabric and business challenges and design ideas. And
Yes.
that window that they put a closet in, and one side has 12 inches, and the other side, the door opens into the window. It's like, where else do people care? But
Nowhere.
it's a
And where else can you go that people will get you and then give you feedback on
That's
it?
right, and give you help. Yep.
All right. So if someone were, they've listened to this podcast and they've decided, all right, I'm signing up. What can they do to prepare to have the best experience at CWC?
Get business cards.
Yes.
Many people come to CWC without business cards. And there's always prize drawings and things at the exhibitors have, a jar where you can win things in their booths. And we have prize drawings. We'll have a prize drawing to win attendance to the 2027 show. And I'm telling you, if I reach in, I'm not going to pull out the cocktail napkin with your name on it. It's or
It's
the
not going to feel like a business card.
or your lunch receipt, it's got a business card. So get business cards made. You have time. They don't have to be fancy. You can print them on your own home printer.
Yeah.
If you plan to purchase, go ahead and open trade accounts with the companies that you want to purchase from. And there is a list of exhibitors on our website. So you can go there, and the exhibitors' names are linked to their websites.
Okay.
And if you're not sure and you might want to open accounts, come prepared with your credentials. So
Yes.
your federal ID number and your sales and use certificate and your address.
Right.
Have all that stuff printed out, and
Yeah.
you can just hand it to them. Um, or you can even, for some companies, and we're going to put out the show specials the first week of September. Some companies will even have order forms that are specific for CWC that you
Right.
can print out and fill out that order form.
Okay.
Um, and I know everybody's going to know about whether they should bring their scissors for Wolf Industries. They're not going to be sharpening on site this year because
Okay.
the distance they're having to fly and not drive. But they'll have some kind of show special. So look for that first week of September. And the show specials are only for CWC attendees.
Okay.
And so you got to be there.
Okay.
Take
I
advantage.
will I will say that even the years that Wolf didn't sharpen on site, I still got my scissors back so
Oh
quickly.
yeah. Some people, if you take a few extra days to tour around the area, your scissors get home before you do.
Exactly. Exactly. And write down all your machine names and model numbers.
Yeah.
I did not do that the first two conferences I went to, and thank goodness Sam Sloan was able to help me figure out what model I had. So
So much this year. It's
I know it's going to be really hard to not see him there this year.
And I think another thing to prepare is you're going to be away from home, so you have to get your ducks in a row. Put that put that message on your email reply. I'm at a professional event
Mhm.
For my business, let your designers know. That's one thing I would always, when I go to a show, was to let my designers know I'm going to a show. Is there anything I can look at for you?
That's a
How many
great,
projects coming up or we're going to need hardware?
right.
So um, that's good. Also, we have a CWC attendees private group on Facebook.
Mhm.
And anybody that's been to a CWC over the past 10 years is on there, and new people that are coming for the first time. But that's a great place to go and on a private group and say, I'm looking for a roommate,
Right.
I'd like to share a hotel room. I'm flying from Atlanta, flying from Philly, I'm flying from Phoenix, anybody else coming, we can sit at the airport together or share a
Right.
ride from the airport to the hotel. The connections people make are phenomenal. I
So
remember Francis Push and CJ Hunt one year met getting on the airplane because they both were upgraded
oh my gosh.
and they got next to each other.
So I met Helena Markovecchio that way. Not, we didn't sit next to each other. She was in the seat in front of
Oh,
me.
that's
I
funny.
posted a picture out the window and said, on my way to CWC. And she saw it on the Facebook group and she turned around. She goes, are you really going to CWC? So am I. I
I
thought that
love
was
it.
just fantastic.
That's fantastic. That happened. I just love those stories.
Yeah. So I think if someone has listened to this and still is not convinced that they need to be there, call me. I'll change your mind. It's an opportunity that I think people can't afford to overlook
Mhm.
because, as we've covered, I think pretty well, it's about connection. It's about introduction to new ideas. It's about introduction to products and services that you can't find anywhere else. So I really feel that if you're listening to this and you can't come this year and it's giving you terrible FOMO, I'm sorry, but start preparing for next year. Or if you're in a season of life that doesn't allow for this, we all get it. We've all been there. But it's just something that I look forward to every single year, even in 2 years where I've had another big event very shortly after CWC. This will be the last time that happens for
No
me.
more weddings for you. Your daughter's
Yeah, I have a
already
wedding. It's a full. It's more than a month after this time, so I can enjoy the process of CWC a little more than I did 2 years ago. But I think that it's if you listen to people speaking about CWC, that excitement and that happiness to see other people who are like them, who do what they do,
on.
and the ability to learn something new.
Yeah, I think it's also important to bring together the upholstery and drapery
Agreed.
workgroups. They're different, but they have a lot in common. So we all
Exactly.
are serving the same customers, um, and so much of it overlaps. So
Right. And I think a great opportunity for people will be during the education station. We are going to have a panel discussion about exactly that. And I've said many times, I've done some light upholstery. I took a traveling upholstery class that was offered by CHF Academy at the time. And after doing that, I decided that I was, in fact, not an upholsterer. And I have so much admiration for their skills and abilities. I realized that the what ifs and the unknowns of reupholstery were not good for my personality. Just was not a good fit for me. But I did learn a lot of things that I continue to do in my workroom. So that was really helpful for me.
we've seen a lot of cross education. So upholsterers are now coming and deliberately taking window treatment classes just to pick up some tips.
Right.
Might
And
just be how to finish a hem or add a welt cord in a different way. And the drapery world is doing the same. And you take upholstery classes, and the next time you go to do a corner sport or a lambrequin, or even just dining room chair seats, you're like, wow, that was really helpful.
yeah, you've learned a new technique that will help you. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's great.
Well, Susan, is there anything else you want to share with the people who are listening today?
Oh, wow. I just hope people will take the leap and sign up to attend. Um, a trial, we like to say a trial makes a customer, right? So you come one time and then you want to come back
Yeah.
and you can start planning for it every year. We are working on the venue for 2027 right now. I will announce that at CWC this year, after the exhibit hall closes.
Okay.
And thank you, Seal, for managing and sponsoring the education station this year. It's a great, I think it's the most demonstrations we've had at a education station. So you're going to be knocking them out one after another after
Oh,
another.
yes, we are. Well, one table set up and one table we're going.
I have a great lineup of presenters, um, everything from, lampshades to how to use, get the most from your iron. I don't know. I don't know. I hope that Anne's talking about an iron that we use in the workroom and not like golf clubs.
Oh, she's definitely talking about what we use in the workroom. Although we could ask her maybe to demonstrate that.
Yeah, there's some really great topics. So
Yeah.
I hope people will go to our event brochure. The website is customworkroomconference.com. Keep it simple, and that's who we are.
Well, Susan, I'm taking away from our conversation that there's the opportunity to learn new techniques. There's the opportunity to see the boundaries of our own businesses, to be with people who understand us and who don't glaze over, as Donna Scoop has said, to learn about new resources. And I think really importantly, what we all have to contribute to this industry. It is a small industry. And if we don't contribute, it won't be there anymore.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, we're stronger together. And
yes,
our our mission statement from 2016 and still true today is strengthening the workroom industry through quality education and relationships with other workroom professionals. And those relationships will propel you in so many different ways. And really that is the most important part.
I agree. Well, thank you so much for talking to me about this. I look forward to CWC every year. So, an opportunity to talk about it always makes me very happy.
Oh, thank you, Seal. It's been a lot of fun. I look forward to seeing you there.
I know it's coming up soon.
Oh, boy.
Thanks, Susan.
Okay, bye.
I hope that listening to this podcast has given you a few things to think about. If you're not planning on going to CWC this year, now's a good time to start planning for next year. But mostly, Susan and I wanted you to start thinking about what it means to be educated in our industry, what it means to contribute to the education in our industry, and how we can all be part of it, and what opportunities there are connected to education in both the window treatment and soft home furnishings industry. Thank you so much for listening. I hope you have a great day.